Yeah, you were correct.
Yeah. Good.
We'll forego the handshakes unless that will hurt anybody's feelings, or we can do it.
Want to get going?
Sure, I'll shake your hand.
All right.
I ain't
Be that way.
Everybody else should be right.
All right.
Nice to see you, Brian.
Come on, we're not gonna miss
Good morning.
anybody.
That's, thank you.
So,
Good to see you.
Look good in the beard.
what's that?
You look good in the beard.
Well, I'm trying to improve my image. It's a project though.
I won't say a word.
It's a work in progress.
All right. Gotta give me a few minutes yet to, we still got time.
Sure.
You know, we're a bit early. Do you want us to wait for the appointed time?
Yep, gotta wait for a minute while my system catches up. I had to shut it down and it's taken a minute to warm back up.
You know, these computers are so efficient these days. Said that tongue in cheek, I don't know if you noticed that.
I like to say it's like hard to realize that the speed of electricity is 186,000 miles per second.
It's not the electricity
the
that's the
electricity.
issue, it's the internet that's the issue.
I guess that's right.
Nice pictures, Connor.
You like those?
Yeah.
Good.
Buildings or a
Hey,
house?
look, I'm here, my car is even in the
Are you
picture.
looking ahead of the?
Yeah, we're jumping way ahead here.
It's okay.
We were going to, I shouldn't even say this, but the pictures of us, Connor actually had the draft copy of it, and by my picture, it said pre-beard. That got edited out.
Yeah, oh darn.
I think I've seen that picture before.
Oh, hopefully not at the post.
I was just gonna say, it wasn't at the post office either.
You want me to help push some buttons?
Looks like a day I visited.
Yeah, the car there.
I think you're already dead.
You left the bottom. It is.
Is it? Is it this way? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's Mr. Borchers.
This Orchard's truck.
Oh, okay. Probably blue, yeah.
There we go. We are now live.
So you ready? Let me start. Okay, I wanna thank you guys for coming. So whenever you wanna start, you can go ahead and start.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay? And that's,
Very good, yep.
we'll lean in well. Okay, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to come in and present to you. We are Brian and Connor Fisher from Fisher Tice Architects, Engineers, and Planners in Waukesha. Back on May 1st, we submitted this document. This was kind of our proposal. Tonight, we're doing basically a straight handout presentation. That's the 11 by 17. We're gonna talk to this, but a lot of the content is the same, but we've really kind of boiled it down for the things we wanna share with you tonight. Page 1 here is the index. We're gonna talk to you about kind of 6 different topics. If you flip to page 2, a bit about us and our firm. We're an established firm. We've been in continuous operation since 1956 in Wisconsin. My grandpa Ned Fisher started the company. My dad Brian has worked for the company 50 years, basically his whole career, and I am now the 3rd generation Fisher working at the firm. We are very local. Our office is located in the village of Waukesha. It's been located there since 1969, and we are admittedly a small firm. It's Brian, Connor, and my mom, Eileen, right now. But we like it this way. This allows us to stay very nimble and client-focused and kind of specialize what we do. A little bit about me as well. I went to architecture and engineering school here in Wisconsin. I graduated and moved to Chicago and worked there for 8 years, working for some big offices, some high-profile projects. And then 3 years ago, I moved back to Wisconsin to work with my dad, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm a licensed architect, and just a couple months ago, I passed my engineering exam, so I'm gonna become a licensed engineer. If you flip to page 3, we wanna show you relevant project experience. A lot of Fisher Tice's work is municipal, kind of working for cities, towns, villages. We have a lot of brand new fire stations in our portfolio. Just a few we want to show you from the area. Wales, Genesee, we did 3 fire stations for the city of Waukesha. Delafield, this is the town of Delafield, their full new fire station and the town hall incorporated into it. If you look at the floor plan on the bottom right, we just want to talk to you about some of the parts and pieces. The yellow you see there is a full kind of dorm and sleep room. The red is kitchen, day room, exercise area, and the blue is the full service garage. So that is kind of a lot of the parts and pieces of what your project is looking for.
Yeah, the last building that Connor did is the one right around the corner of the bypass here, Fire Station 3 for the city. You go on to the next page, section 4 of 11. Just a couple of things. Several years back, the village of McWanago, existing fire station. We did the additions to that in yellow. Dorm room, sleeping room, stateroom, and a kitchen renovation. There's a photograph of that. Done an awful lot of work with garages, vehicle storage facilities for Waukesha County Highway Department. Over the course of many years, we did armories throughout the state of Wisconsin that have vehicle storage and repair garages. The bottom right, there's a little Foxbrook Park maintenance building. We threw that in. That's got some garage areas in it. As Connor mentioned, our focus for years has been municipal work, mostly in southeastern Wisconsin. I mean, just grappling through Waukesha County area, Germantown, Menominee Falls, Brookfield, New Berlin, City of Waukesha, Pewaukee, City of Oconomowoc, Town of Ottawa, Village of McWanago. We've worked for almost all the municipalities in Waukesha County on public works related projects. Next page, if you would, is titled 3 Previous Projects for the Village of Waukesha. This is, the ink is fresh on this. This is an aerial photograph that Connor took with a drone yesterday. And just some of you are familiar with this, others might not be, but Fisher Tice, not in any particular order, but clockwise left to right, if you will. We call it the existing DPW building. And back here, that's the one on the crooked or slanting slab. You won't see that on our website, but hopefully it served the town and the village well. The existing freestanding DPW building back here, the fire station with the bays that face to the north, on the north side of the building. That's a Fisher Tice project. The part of the room that you're sitting in was an addition to the village hall here. Several years back, the last 24 feet, Connor and I are probably sitting in the original building. It's seamless. We added on to the clerk's office, the rest of it. And then it's not an architectural project, but the monument sign design. So our fingerprints are all over that. I'll let Connor now proceed with the next page.
So now we're on page 6. This is category 4, project understanding. We took quite a bit of time and looked at the documents and drawings you shared with us to start to get our heads around the project and the scope. On the left is the 3 buckets of the project you're looking at. The fire station looks like a nice size addition and remodeling within, a new DPW building or garage, and then kind of a look at a kind of all campus electrical upgrade, what that means as far as generators and power. We always kind of get excited about projects and possibilities. and so on the right are just other considerations that I'm sure you're thinking about or talked about, but these would be kind of the next steps of things that would be very important to talk about in the next, our first design meeting or next series of design meetings. We want to serve you as best we can in a project like this. When you're looking at a number of different parts and pieces and steps, we just want to make sure we're looking at solving immediate problems and also looking into the future, what that means, and make sure we're kind of doing all things as best we can and kind of not making our mistakes or setting yourself up for something you'll kind of wish we had done something else in the future. Just also down the list, all these projects are going to involve quite a bit of kind of site work and looking at parking and paving and rerouting and things like that. So we're looking at this kind of way zoomed out. This project's going to involve a lot of kind of moving parts and pieces. Flip to page 7 now. These are just images of the previous studies you shared with us that we've been kind of studying in depth to understand where you've been and what we're going to talk about first and where we want to go. If you flip to page 8, this is a quick diagram drawing we put together that you'll see in our kind of first proposal document as well. This is us just starting to do some, figure out all the puzzle pieces of what we're talking about, because I think this project is going to involve a lot of conversations about just how the village functions, where you're going in the future, immediate needs, future needs that you want to do right by you, and kind of solve the puzzle together. If you flip ahead to page 9 now, this is topic 5, approach. This is going to be a longer one. Just going to work through the bullet points together. All architectural projects, and especially this one, we're going to do a lot of discussing, meeting, visioning together. So a big part of what we like to help our clients with is kind of guiding that discussion, understanding your needs, kind of looking at some of the past documents you shared and just understanding the market right now. We appreciate that budget and kind of construction cost is always a serious topic. I mean, we can't even start to talk about doing a project without understanding what it might cost, or what happens if it costs too much. We want to hit the nail on the head and get you exactly what you want for kind of the best value. Understandably, every construction project, the ultimate cost of it decides on a number of variables that we don't have figured out yet. Things like the size of the project, the scope, what you're putting into it, the quality, and when you're going to build it. If you build it right now, it's going to cost one thing. If we go through a large process and we design it and build it next year or 2 years, the costs are going to escalate. Bullet point 2, we pride ourselves in kind of a real personal touch. We want to work together with you every step of the way to understand your project and help you solve your needs. To us, this means total open communication. We're always available. Call us, email us. We like to meet with you face-to-face, preferably. A project like this is going to take lots of meetings over the course of time to start big picture, zoomed out, and slowly but surely get focused in and start to lock in the solution. So we foresee lots of meetings in the future with your building committee. We are flexible, so we can meet with you, kind of 8 to 5. We can definitely meet with you after hours like this if that's just more helpful for everybody to get together at once. We're totally amenable to that. Bullet point 3 here, I'm sure you've heard this from other presenters, but a big kind of architectural, construction building project like this is going to be broken into phases, starting with schematic design and working through all the way to construction. Schematic design, I put a big star by that. That is when we're trying to understand what the project's about, hear things, interview people, get an understanding of all the inputs and all the needs. This is when studying options makes a lot of sense. Let's do some drawing before it gets too serious and look at what does it mean if the DPW building's here? What does it mean if the building's here? What does it mean if we rearrange the fire station addition in a different way that can kind of create different opportunities for you? And slowly but surely we'll kind of discuss pros and cons and start making decisions and locking things in and getting more real. Design development is exactly what it says. We kind of build on where we think we're going. It's kind of a refining process. construction documents is very important. We pride ourselves on very tight sets of documents with everything as meticulous as we can get. This avoids kind of questions or confusion during construction, which usually costs money that was not accounted for. This is gonna be a publicly bid project. That's a bulk of the work we do. We're very familiar with the process, issuing the project for a public bid, receiving the bids, kind of processing the bids and working with you to guide you into a decision of who you would hire as the general contractor. And finally, construction, I put another big star by that. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where somebody's gonna show up and actually build what we've been talking about for months and months. And so we take that very seriously, processing submittals, pay applications, solving issues, meeting on site frequently to just observe construction and make sure they are building what we are expecting them to build at the quality we want.
My father, who was also, I guess I would say, a professional mentor, tried to teach me many things, some of which I learned and remember. One thing professionally was, he said, you'll likely to encounter two situations. He said, either you'll have a client that says, this is what I want to construct, and if you're any good, you should be able to tell them how much it's gonna cost. Or if they tell you how much money they got to spend, if you're any good, you ought to be able to tell them what they can afford to build. What he didn't tell me is all of the clients that I've had in my professional career say, here's how much we want to spend, and here's how much we want to build, and they're not really compatible. You gotta kind of try to bring them together. I thought when I got out of college that I was gonna have all of the clients who had endlessly deep pockets. Sort of disappointment that hasn't happened. Serious vein, that's a bit tongue in cheek. Couple of last 3 bullet points at the bottom here. I'm gonna go in reverse order a little bit. Would strongly recommend, and we put it in our proposal to you, that whoever you decide to hire, hopefully us, that you actually seriously consider hiring an independent cost consultant. Be at a fairly nominal cost. I can tie into the other one, if you're going through a referendum process, not sure that that's the means of funding, but you could go after schematic design, you could dive a little bit deeper into it, but whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna hit the right number, because you're gonna have to obviously have the money in place. Fees for service, I'm gonna do this real quickly. We outline those in our proposal to you. Back to these 5 phases that Connor outlined, we would propose to do that schematic design phase on an hourly basis, because it's hard for us to anticipate how much time and effort that would take. We think that would be the fairest thing. Those other 4 phases, and we put numbers in there, we can double back to those. We suggest doing those on a percentage of cost of construction. Once the project scope has been defined, those can be converted to stipulated sums, and our range on some of that's gonna be in the range of 6 to 8% of the cost of construction, which we think is pretty much in line with what level and quality of service we would provide would be by others. So we're gonna move on, and Connor's gonna wrap up on the last page.
Yep, if you flip to page 10, this is part 6, why us? Some things we'd like to share with you. We are very local. We're 7 minutes away around the bypass if we hit all the traffic lights. We're highly experienced, 50 years, 10 years and growing. We make a good team together. We consider ourselves to be a firm that's highly responsive, collaborative. We're good listeners. We're creative problem solvers. You will always work with the 2 of us directly. We are a small firm. We don't have a big kind of hierarchy organization. I do the drawings, we do the design together, we do the specifications together, we basically collaborate on everything. You call the office, you get one of us. We tailor our services to clients' needs. We want to understand you better, your project better, your personalities, and kind of what your vision is for the village campus. We provide professional service and personal service to us. We want to get to know you well. We're going to be hanging out a lot together, talking on the phone, more than you can ever imagine. So we want to have a good, working, positive relationship together. The last 2, I think, are things that set us apart. We always have your best interests at heart. We are always working hard, going the extra mile to do things for you. And during a construction project, we're always looking for that high value, like how can we get more bang for your buck? How can we design something that costs as little as possible but performs as well as possible? And finally, our goal is to deliver as successful of a project as possible and enjoy the process together.
Just a final comment, I guess, and then we're done certainly for questions. You asked us to keep this to about 15 minutes, and we've endeavored to do that. Here's an admission, our longest suit is not marketing, and it never has been since the beginning of the firm. Our attention is focused on serving clients we've got. That said, if you were to go to our website, it is a work in progress. We've been toying a little bit with how we tune that up, and I think one thing we might put on it, if we were to try to capture the essence of our firm, at one point in time, we had 17 people. We've kind of drawn that back, but you're not working with anything other than registered experienced people. I think the caption on our website would be something like long on legacy, but focusing on the future. That's what we're all about. So our last page is thank you, and we would, again, appreciate the opportunity to answer any questions that you might care to pose.
Thank you. Questions, everybody? Anybody got anything for them?
You got a question?
Go ahead.
And this is, in going through the original presentation that you made to us, lot of projects you did for the village workshop in the town. From 1996 through 2002, and then all of a sudden, there hasn't been much since. Is there a reason for that, or have we just not been doing things? Is that what the deal is? But,
Projects at the town or village of Waukesha?
at the village of Waukesha, yes.
Well, some people might be able to answer that question better than me, some of the people in the room, but I
Okay.
think I think some of the needs have been there, that maybe been more pressing
Okay.
for some people than others. I guess we just ask my personal perspective, a lot of those are, needs that I think have been identified, but circumstances have been such that the village hasn't been able to move ahead on those projects.
Okay,
I mean, that's,
so,
somebody else might have a comment, but that's kind of my vision of it. So yeah, there was a burst of some of those, decades ago, and not much since.
I don't know if you're pointing at me, Brian, to make a comment at this point, or what
Well,
on that, but.
You know, Bob, you know that old saying, when you point a finger at somebody, three of them point back at you, right?
Right, yeah. No, there was a lag, but I think we're heading in a different direction now. We've got things that have taken a different twist. I think we've got an initiative we have needs. And I think this board has come along with that, so we're trying to move forward, and to answer Roger's question, that's what we're looking for. We're looking to the future and we're not looking back. So,
Absolutely.
So how do you handle electrical, plumbing, such like that? Do you do all the engineering and all that?
Sure. Our kind of engineering focus in-house would be structural and civil. For things like mechanical, electrical, plumbing, we would hire a consultant, and we have good working relationship with several of them. We'd bring them on board.
Okay, so you would get consultants?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they would be part of those, typically what's referred to as often as MEP, mechanical, heating, ventilation, E, electrical, P for plumbing. Those specialty engineering consultants would work under contract to Fisher Tice. They would be paid for out of our fees for service. The only thing, and I'm not sure we put that in the booklet, but stuff that would kind of be outside of that, I mentioned independent cost consultant. We strongly recommend you think about that again. In the big scope of things, that's gonna be a fairly nominal cost. We would certainly, help you identify the cost consultant. If it would be your preference, the cost consultant could work through us and be paid through us, or preferably they would work independently. We'd all work hand in hand, but for the village. The only other things outside of that is if we get into some real specialty areas, such as, and I don't anticipate a lot, but stormwater management or a couple of those things. I don't think there's much here that would involve hazardous materials abatement or that type of thing based on my knowledge of stuff. I mean, there might be a couple of things outside of there, but the MEP consultants would be people we bring on board on our dime. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else? Al, I can tell you're chomping at the bit here, go ahead.
Nice to see Brian again in the room. I think things have changed here since one, we became a village instead of a town. So I think a lot of our needs now are changed, have a little direction now than in the past, okay? So obviously, we're looking for, work to be done, and you guys have been in here many times and done some work, and obviously you guys are looking to maybe process this a little bit further for us, and we'll maybe looking forward to working with you, but I guess my big thing is that the DPW building and the fire station that we have here, that obviously we'd like to see what can be done with the money that we have, and obviously we can talk later on that if we get to that point. But I appreciate you guys coming.
Well, thank you.
Anybody else?
I just got one more question here, and it's, we've had a couple of presentations already, and we've seen presentations that, and we're gonna come back, 4 times, and then that's kinda like it. I mean, they're making references to the fact that, we have a process that allows us to perform and bring these contracts in with a process that they've worked on. You folks are saying that, cause you're only 7 minutes away, I mean, we've got a circumstance that you can be here as many times as the job would require. And I'm just saying, is this a difference in philosophies? Because I'm having a hard time understanding how you're gonna do, how one company's gonna do it, and they're gonna do a limited number of visits, and you folks are gonna do it, being very available, which I, by nature as in my future job, was very available for my clients. So can you tell me what the differences are, how are you able to do it, without, and how are they able to do what they do?
Absolutely. For us, and I think we talked about it, definitely in schematic design. One way to do is set a number of meetings and say, at the end of 4 meetings, we're done, or we extend the contract.
Okay.
We like to do that hourly, and that basically keeps it open-ended. If we wanna meet for months and months, great. If we get it solved in a couple meetings, all the better. Hourly allows us to be compensated fairly and not allow you to get just exactly what you're getting from us for services. As far as construction visits, in a contract, we'd come out weekly or bi-weekly to look at stuff, but there's always more to talk about than that. And we find that meeting face-to-face and looking at the things together is more effective and collaborative than talking on the phone or emails back and forth or a Zoom meeting. So just for one brief example, we're doing the Genesee, a new park pavilion for them down on Sunset Drive, and a kind of construction issue came up Friday before Memorial Day, and we were out there looking at it, the Tuesday we were back. So sometimes perhaps the answer is we go above and beyond what we're contracted to do because it's the right thing to do.
I could just hitchhike on that a bit and give you an example. Not every project is a project from heaven, okay? Some of them come from the other place, that's the nature of it. We did about 4 years ago out at Old World, Wisconsin, and done a lot of work out there for the state of Wisconsin. New building, small building, kind of an interpretive center. The square footage of it is probably no bigger than the meeting room that we're in. Client was the state of Wisconsin there. We often take schemes and letter them sequentially beginning with A. I think we got to scheme M, okay? never anticipated that, but I mean, for the good of the project, we stayed the course. I will tell you, if you work with us, what you can expect, and I think we would owe it to you as we would to any other client. If we think you are making a mistake or a bad decision or something that you might live to regret, I mean, the stuff that's not touchable is code stuff that relates to safety, health, welfare, but so many of these decisions are decisions ultimately that you make, okay? They're your decisions. If we think you're making a mistake, we feel duty bound to tell you that if you're gonna regret it, or give you other options to look at. If we think you're making a big mistake, you're probably gonna hear it twice. Ultimately, it's your decision. At the end of the day, there are two parts to this. There's process and there's product, okay? The end product. The end product is what endures. At a certain point in time, the process is forgotten. It's an important part of getting there. But I think, as what Connor said, we'll give it our all on this. We're not going to limit it or constrain to a certain amount of meetings as long as we're making forward progress. We're here for the success of the project, and I think not only because of our proximity but familiarity, I think we could work incredibly efficiently for you to get to that point.
Under your additional considerations with master plan, you see the best solutions for now and in the future. Combining that with page 8, I appreciate that you put this together. I didn't realize until this all went on that you guys did all the stuff here for this campus. And so my question, I guess, with putting all those thoughts together that I just blurted out, what do you see as the age and the life cycle of the buildings we have existing? Are those gonna be around a lot longer? Should we be looking, being that you know these buildings, the existing building that's next to where you're putting your proposal for option 1 is that a building that's gonna be good for another 50 years or 10 years or what?
I'll go first, you can go second. Here's a place we might say something to offend somebody, okay? But
Well, I asked the question, so.
I understand, so
Takes a
we're
lot
here
to
for
offend me.
what it is. The building in back here, the DPW building back here that's used for cold storage, okay? The one that sits on the slab that pitches from south to north, that was put on that concrete slab. That was done many years ago. Here are the architects who did it. I think that was $28,000 or something to put the thing on there with the garage doors that have trapezoidal panels at the bottom of it, okay? I know, and we've seen some of your stuff, you're saying don't touch any of that. I think there's a better way to use the site. I think that building has served its useful purpose, okay? That might offend somebody blunt. The building that's right behind here that I think was, maybe I'm looking at the thing up there that it says that Town of Waukesha established in 1842. I think that building was built after that, but I don't know how much. I don't know whether the sheriff's car is in there or the polling stuff or what or not. I think that building has seen better days and useful life to clean up the site. The DPW building over here, I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, those are simple mechanical systems that comes from the well water over to here. It goes out to the sewer that was put in. Sanitary sewer goes right by it a number of years ago. That might be getting close to aging out on a shingle roof for nominal cost or what or not. I would think that building has, a lot of times people say anticipate useful service life might be 40 years. That's halfway done. I think that's more time in it. I think, and there might be roofing. I think the fire station goes a while. Connor, jump into that. I mean, I don't think the rest of those buildings are gonna wear out or age out quickly if they're no longer serving a useful purpose to be changed to a different purpose. That's one thing. Jump in, what did I miss?
No, that's great. I think, kind of first meeting or series of meetings is a discussion of the campus as a whole, and there's two topics, right? One topic is just the condition of the physical building itself. What's its longevity? Does it need repairs or maintenance or upgrades to keep it going? Then the bigger one, I think, is function, right? It sort of feels like you're outgrowing the spaces you have. We wanna understand what exactly that means, what spaces are gonna solve the problem. And I guess the risk is always you build this now and it solves the problem, but in 10 or 15 years, do you need to grow again? We wanna help just kind of understand that and maybe plan it a little bit longer into the future than just, kind of a patchwork quilt of projects to get you what you need right now.
Okay, answer your question, Chad?
Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else? I think that's it. I think, what you guys said about talking face to face is the reason why we had everybody come in, because I believe in the same philosophy that it's, you guys put a proposal together and you deserve to come in and talk to us face to face and us to you, so I think that's why we did this, to, have you come in.
And we,
I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice, guys. But anyway, thanks for coming. I really appreciate that and appreciate your time and
we've got 2 more copies of that, Chris, if you would like them or whatever, we can, well, the thing we presented tonight, you're welcome to them.
All right, yep,
Okay.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity,
Thank you
appreciate it.
very much, and
Thank you.
wish you well.
Thank you.
thank you.
That.